Right, so we've eventually got our bobber seat for Ben's bike, so it's just, I'll show you what I've done so far and trying to work out how to mount it and aesthetically look right. So I had the conrod in there, which I cut down because it was too big. I machined up a spacer for that, and then we're going to put those two on there just to make that look prettier. Yeah. So that's the seat bracket it came with, the pivot point. So that'll all fit in there. So that'll do us for the moment, just so it's pivoting. Your main strength is in that, so that will move very slightly. So I'll just put a location bolt down into the frame, just trying to keep the frame as standard as we can. A little M5 hole isn't going to make any difference to it, you know. Obviously we could have just put this bracket here and just left those two standing up. Yeah. But he didn't like the look of that. He wanted to keep that so it looks like it's in flow, you know. Yeah. Right, so that holds all of that really solid when it's in, yeah? Yeah. So then you've got your main seat, which you can move backwards and forwards on those slots. And you've got this spring, coil spring or a hairpin spring, which you can use. It's up to the customer's choice, obviously. I like the hairpins, but it doesn't matter. So that's that. Now those springs are coming out at that angle. Yeah. Which brings them back here somewhere, which I didn't like. So I made this bar up this with a little twist in, yeah. Obviously it's all got to be painted and tidied up, just to bring those springs more of an angle there, yeah. So then we've got Chinesium. That is your pivot point, and that's the bolt that goes in the hole.
Nice, good fit.
And that's the bolt that goes in there. So it doesn't matter what you do, but at the moment it's just mocking up, so you'll never get that a nice fit. So I'll have to machine bits up to go in there, and it's got that as well, look. Yeah. So just machine up some collars for it. And then it's just deciding how we're going to mount the springs. I've done all sorts of different bits and pieces, but I think I'll come back to the conclusion just putting a bolt down through that is probably going to be the best solution, yeah?
What other solutions did you come up with?
I machined up bits of brass. I made those so that they'll go in there. But I think it brings it up too high again. I found these off an old Austin, they're headlamp bits, so they could bolt straight through, but that again brings it up high. You want to get it down as nice and low if you can, you know. I looked at rose joints in there, maybe somehow making a bracket for those, but again it brings it up high. So I think, being as you've got that natural cut there, I think we'll just put a bolt through them.
Sometimes the simplest thing is the most.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, try to overthink it, try to make it look funky, you know, but I think that's probably the best way of doing it. So I'll find some washers now and just drop a bolt down through, because whatever happens, I don't think you need the seat further back. Quite comfortable on the clutch. Yeah. But again, it's easy enough. It's going to have that curl on the spring anyway when it's in, yeah? That's as far as that will go on its slots backwards at the moment, but you've got plenty of room there if you want to bring that back. That'd probably be easier just to extend this another inch. That's kind of where it wants to naturally sit, isn't it?
That looks, as far as the natural curvature of the bike is concerned, that follows the lines really well.
Looks better, yeah?
Yeah.
Just worried about it not looking very pretty here. Okay, so let's just cut those out, those slots at the moment, because you have actually got more on that front one anyway. file that out a little bit. Not too worried about the back hole at the moment, so let's put that there. Right, so that's brought him back a little bit. Well, that brings the spring line better, definitely, doesn't it? And like you say, that does flow better, I think, doesn't it? I can go back further to equal out the gap between the frame and the seat there.
Yeah.
Because what you've got to remember is these, you see somebody big on one of these and you realise how actually physically small the motorbikes are.
Yeah.
You know, they're not a large motorbike. Well, it's only half an inch, but I think it'll make a difference, you know?
Yeah.
Chic ride. The springs ain't going to stay in there at the moment, but for line, yeah, that's better, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. So the only bit I'm sort of worried about is that isn't the prettiest thing in the world. I might make a just a curved cover piece up.
Yeah.
Can bolt on with that, because you've got to be able to get into there to that bolt.
Yeah.
I think I might make something that just goes over there, tapers in, just smooth it all out a little bit more, you know? Like that.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, no. I don't like that gap. But that looks better back there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. Right, okay, so I'm happy with it where it is there now. And the springs will line up better there. They'll have a slight bend in them, which does look okay. I don't like that. I think what I'm going to do is put one of them on there and remake this.
Okay.
Somehow. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. It needs to be something a bit, that's just horrible.
Well, it's exposed as well, so it's not that you can hide it, is it?
No, it just looks
Unless,
horrible.
as you say, you have something over the top of it.
Yeah, I still think that'll look ugly though.
As you say, if you keep going down the industrial route, that would probably be the better.
I think so.
You got the conrod there. If you got an extension from the conrod.
Yeah. Nah, it's just going to look crap, though, isn't it? So let's have a look and see what we've got. So I can chop that off of there. That'll do it, won't it? Chop that off of there and make a cradle in there for that. Yeah, that's going to look better, isn't it? And then that way, also, I could put some more nuts on that. No, a round bit of tube, and you get adjustment on that as well.
Oh, that's the point, yeah.
It's going to be easy to mount that on there, isn't it? And we want to pivot off of that. Right, well, one either side I don't think will look right, do you? Putting two, you know, one either side of it. These all came from where that shirt comes from, Alan Man Racing, when my dad worked there.
Really?
It's all tiny little things that for racing cars. Right, okay, how are we going to do this?
So just talk me through your thought process in here.
Well, I don't think that looks too bad. Like that, facing that way. So then all you've got to do is build up, cut this off, weld a bit of tube that will fit that on the underside of that, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you can put a nut. It doesn't even have to do that, you can just weld it straight on, to be honest with you. And then it's just trying to make something. It might be better with one of those bigger ones, you know. I mean, they're pretty chunky, but see, that looks better, doesn't it?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Are you going to paint them black? What are you going to do?
Yeah, they'll be painted black because he doesn't want chrome on the bike. So obviously all this is a bigger one, I think.
Where it does match up to the conrod and...
Yeah. So then that way, I can set the height of it to the top of the conrod.
Yeah.
And just build two brackets up for it, I think, don't you?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Bring it back a little bit, because I've got to be able to get to that screw. Mind you, if it's on plates, it doesn't matter, does it? It just pull out, won't it? And that gives you plenty of thread to weld underneath the seat then, doesn't it? That's half of building these things. You swap and change ideas, you know.
So what's the first thing you need to do now then?
Take this off, because I don't want to weld anywhere near that.
Office.
Chop that off. Make sure you can get something down in there. No, that doesn't matter. I'd rather have that close up to that. Yeah?
But as far as that Allen key underneath it,
Doesn't matter, because you can take your bolt out of there, pull it out and do the Allen key up.
yeah.
I just don't like the look at that at all.
No.
And as we've said many a time, if it looks right, it's right, you know?
Or if someone commented, if it doesn't look right, it ain't right.
It ain't right. Okay. What have we done with the joint? There it is. There it is. I want to come down, so if we take them off flush at the bottom for the moment, yeah? It's never going to look brilliant, because you've still got to build something up that covers a bit of that joint. But it's a much more functional pivot point as well. Trying to get rid of that block look, you know? Right, okay.
And that's where the bolt goes through that.
That's your original pivot there, so we'll be coming up a little bit on the front.
Is this used, this bit?
Not if we're going to use this, no.
So could you do away with that?
Yeah, I can chop that off completely, yeah.
And then that'll bring it down. It may look...
Yeah, but it's still, that wouldn't look too bad welded on there, with that out of the way. But I've got to be able to get to that bolt, haven't I? So I think.
He's doing it.
I'm doing it, I'm going in. Fearless.
No going back now?
No, is that it? Right, well, that'll bring that down in line, won't it?
Yeah.
That's going to be too high if I do that, isn't it? Right, I know what to do. And it'll make that look better as well. I'll remake that out of a piece of tube that fits around the frame, and then I can put a screw in there and a screw in there. Yeah? Then I can just weld that to that. Dude, where's my car?
What are you looking for?
Seat.
See.
I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to do this. Oh, that's ugly. So whatever we do on there, we want it to come up from the bottom.
That's why I'm trying to just understand what you're thinking.
I just want it to look right.
I know, but the process of working it out is what's interesting.
Dunno.
No, it's just interesting because there's obviously lots of people who they're all up against the same potential problems, and like some people just can't see the wood for the trees. They just get completely lost in it, and
Yeah.
so seeing someone like you having the same issue and then understanding how you work it out, it's all very well just saying boom and this is what I've done, but how did you come up with that?
I know. Just trying to make it. It's hard to explain. I'm just trying to make it look right. Like, just have a look at two. It might look better with two in there than one, which it probably would. Looking at that, I can build the pivot back up, and then if I need to bring that up, I can put those spacers back in there.
Yeah.
Think that'll work? I do.
I think that looks quite nice.
Okay, I've got to free this one up because she's rusted. I'll cut the threads off, so that don't matter. She's very tight, but as long as I can get it somewhere square, it doesn't matter. Okay, right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, I think that looks better. So we need to find a bolt at the moment that will just go through there. think it'd be that hard to find a bloody bolt, would you?
Oh, no, not in a workshop for the bolts. No.
I think if we chop those two off, go for that, I think, wouldn't you?
Right.
And like I say, I can put a bit of tube around there and just drill in there and there. Might change your mind completely when it's back. It's trial and error, some of it, you know. But in my mind, it's got to look better than just having that thing hanging there and with a big gap, you know. It's trying to make something to fill that gap up between the seat and the back of that.
Well, it looks in keeping with the bike, and
just didn't look right. That's better, isn't it? Right, let's get that bad boy tacked in there, I think. Right.
that looks really good.
Yeah, but if I come up, bring that out and come up from the underneath with that, it'll look better, won't it?
Say again? What do you mean?
Well, instead of covering the top of that with that, bring it up from the bottom.
Yeah.
It'll look better, I think. Whoa, man, we're on fire!
You pleased with that?
Hang on.
Oh, when you said we were on fire, I thought...
Ah, we're on fire. What was I doing? Taking the seat apart. Setting the workshop on fire. Oh, man! I just caught the rag on fire and melted and cracked my glasses.
Oh dear.
I can't see shit now.
Oh dear.
I've got to go and get my eyes tested anyway, so...
That kind of forces the issue, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right, let's put those back in. Let's see how that looks. I think that'll be okay. Obviously got to make new brackets here, but when that's bolted down, that flow looks alright, doesn't it? And then you haven't got that horrible gap there, have you?
No, it's much nicer.
I think we've got a plan stand. I know what I'm going to do. Make a nice strong piece of flat metal coming that way and put it in between the two rose joints.
Ooh.
And then that gets rid of all that look then, doesn't it? So I need to cut that off, don't I? And then I can brace there and there later if needs be. I want my whole centre to be about there. No point in going any further down there at the moment. Nice fit, that's good. Yeah, if I do it that way, that'll pivot there on the seat. But I can taper and round all that off and triangulate that, and it'll make the build be nice and strong, you know?
Yeah.
But look, at the moment, research and development at the moment.
I see it.
R&D, mate.
nice.
Better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, right, let's try and set this up a bit better. Let's put him in there. We go like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. And the bolt's too short. Yay! We want to go one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them. Plenty of clearance there. Got to radius that off. Let's put that in there. That'll give us a nice height gauge, won't it? Right, before I do that, I'll just radius the end of that off. Yeah. Right, so let's tack that one. I like that. Good tidy up, good brace up. Springs line up better. That's miles better, isn't it?
100%.
It just takes your eye off of that, doesn't it?
It makes a feature of it, if anything, rather than drawing your eyes for the wrong reason. That's actually clever, isn't it?
Yeah, that's much better, isn't it? It's funny when you're doing things like that, you can tell in your mind it just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It's taking that big gap out.
You should be pleased with yourself.
Yeah, I quite like imagining things, if you know what I mean. See, if I ever do get round to building a proper hot rod, I've got loads of fucking weird ideas. Right, and to me, that's got to be straight like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Don't like it. So, just bring, say, a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of difference, don't you?
I think so.
Okay, we'll go with that. Phooey.